Hi guys, how's it going today? Really glad to be back with you. And I saw Frank Guri in the comments said, I wonder what Dan has cooked up for us today. And Alan Hagyard says, or what ingredients he has for the mystery recipe. Well, I don't know actually. That's a great question. I have been working on some stuff, but I don't know what I'm gonna do today. I actually felt like, at least for now, at least at the beginning, keeping it simple, and I think I'm going to play a free improvisation. I haven't done that in a while, actually. These live streams have become a little more specific, and this time I want to play something, just free form. So here I go. A little free improvisation, just for you. I guess I started in something like C and spent most of my time in A flat. And that's what I love about keys. They're like these lands that you can visit. And for me, at least, they inspire me. I visit this land and it feels a certain way and it makes me feel like playing a certain thing. There's some kind of really delightful feedback loop there. I'm reading this book right now, I Am a Strange Loop by Douglas Hofstadter. I Am a Strange Loop. And Douglas Hofstadter is the person who wrote Gödel, Escher, Bach, which probably many of you know about. An incredible book, bringing together the logic and philosophy of Gödel and Bach, and of course the artist M.C. Escher. And actually, after the New York Times published that piece about my Bach Upside Down project, I got an email from Douglas Hofstadter, which is pretty amazing because I've loved Gödel, Escher, Bach since I was a teenager, and it's been a pretty formative book for me. But anyway, we had an email correspondence, and I ordered this more recent book of his, I Am a Strange Loop. And I Am a Strange Loop actually makes similar points to Gödel, Escher, Bach, but in a more direct and strong way. And the main point of it is that the more feedback you have in a system, the more looping there is, and the more it feels like that system has consciousness. And strange loops are things where you can't quite tell where they begin and where they end. It's linked to this idea that Gödel has, which I guess is more than an idea, it's a proved piece of logic, which is that no formal logical system can be complete within itself. You have to have some kind of outside view onto it to make it complete. So anyway, I Am a Strange Loop just makes me think of this idea of keys, because there's some kind of feedback mechanism happening between my in the moment desire to, say, play a certain chord or play a certain melody, and then the feedback that I'm getting from the feeling of that chord once it arrives, which feels external to me, even though I may have set it in motion. So I think there's something there that connects deeply with the very notion of consciousness. Grace Chu says, I have Gödel, Escher, Bach amongst my piano books. That's great. I bet there aren't very many people out there who have it amongst their piano books. They might have it in their science section, but there's a lot about music in there, a lot about Bach. And Miralia Vitedo Reese says, coincidentally, I just translated 300 plus letters of Gödel. That's incredible. Wow. Would you please send something to me, or I would love to see those. I'm presuming you translated them into English. Yeah, I would love to see those. I've actually never read a letter of Gödel's. And it's pronounced Gödel. Is that right? Really? Even with the O and the umlaut? In German, it would be Gödel, right? Anyway, if you say so, I'll say Gödel. Okay, what are we going to do now? I had an idea. Silvano Raffo says, do you feel more like Achilles or the turtle? Oh man, it's both, right? You got to have a bit of both. Yeah, and thanks, Miralia. If you can email me, that'd be incredible. I'm just dantepfer@gmail.com. Yeah, so today I learned that the great composer Enrico Morricone died. And, it's kind of like the death of Lee Konitz. It's the end of an era. It's also something where he was old and led an incredible life, so you can't complain too much. But still, it's a huge thing that Enrico Morricone has died. He wrote hundreds of film scores and a lot of unforgettable tunes. So I'm going to play something by him. This is one of his kind of immortal melodies. They're very simple, but they just really function very powerfully to set a mood. This is called Deborahs Theme. Hope you enjoy this. Yeah, that was a version of Deborah's Theme. My first time playing it, actually. Did a little improvising in there in the middle. I think it's so interesting with film scores. When you look at these songs that really last, you know, the themes that still stick in your mind a long time later, they're often incredibly simple. And you know, Beethoven knew that, right? Like when he went la da da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da dee dee da 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 dee da da. He's kind of like thinking like a pop musician, right? Thinking, what can I come up with that is so simple and so memorable that it'll stick in people's imagination. And there's something really interesting there. Someone like Enrico Morricone, who's such a sophisticated musician, very consciously searching for something very simple there and very memorable. It's a fine line to walk. Julie Archibald says, the only reason I like Mondays. I think Marilia Reese said something more about the pronunciation of Goodell. Let's see. Oh wow, a lot of people are saying stuff about Douglas Hofstadter. Yeah, I felt so honored that he wrote to me after that article came out. You know, he's so passionate about Bach, and of course, turning Bach upside down is something that would be fun for him. Marilia Reese says, no, that's right. The emphasis was just on the wrong syllable. Okay, I understand now. So in other words, it's Goodell. Yes? Like Goodell. Goodell. And Kurt Hessian says, Goodell Escherbach inspired me to major in math. I've been a musician my whole life, but that book taught me that math can be artistic too. Awesome to hear you talking about it. Yeah, I mean, wow. Very similar thing with me. You know, I wouldn't say it's that book specifically, but that's one of the books that really awakened me to how poetic and, as you say, artistic math and science, I think physics is the same, can be. And that's a really big achievement. It marked, you know, generations of people, that book. Karen Bentley Pollock says, I have an entire Hofstadter section in my library. Lovely that you and Doug are corresponding. GEB was required reading in Palo Alto when it was released. Yeah, I mean, it's basically required reading of anyone who's kind of in any way a nerd. Amazing that he did that. Oh, and Paul James Brown says, Ennio Morricone. Sorry to correct you. Yes, absolutely right. I said Enrico Morricone because I was thinking of Enrico Pieranunzi, who's a great pianist, who has a great album where he plays all Morricone. But yes, Ennio Morricone. Thank you so much, Paul. Okay, what are we going to do now? I wanted to play a composition by the great Wayne Shorter. I don't play enough Wayne Shorter. I mean, I have at different times in my life. But, you know, he's obviously one of the absolute all-time great jazz musicians and composers. Also an incredible kind of polymath. Like when he was a teenager, he wrote an entire comic strip that got published a few years ago. Just somebody who's kind of insatiably curious about everything. So I'm going to play a composition by him. This is called Fall. Wayne Shorter. Wayne Shorter, Fall by Wayne Shorter. Just amazing composition because you gotta remember, you know, when he wrote this, no one was writing songs like that in jazz. Just like really surprising harmonic movement, even though it's based on actually traditional harmony. He finds a way to change it so that it feels very surprising, and that's what's genius about Wayne, and what's genius about a lot of the people who've made their mark is that they're using old things and making them new. Bob Toby says, Improv Time. Oh, thank you. Forgot to turn my speaking mic on. Oh boy. Someday I'll get this right all the way through. Yeah, thanks you guys. I'm glad that you're keeping me on my toes. Yeah, okay, it's on now. The mic is on now. What are we gonna do now? You guys got any requests? Oh, actually, no, wait. I've been working on something I want to show you. I want to show you this. Yeah, this is something I'm pretty excited about this. Let's see if I can get it to work. I think for some of you actually, you'll have come across this idea of mine before, but I've done a lot of work on it this week, and it's it's opened up a whole bunch of new possibilities with it. I'm talking about my fractal tree ideas, this idea of turning a tree fractal into music. Yeah, Alan Haggard says, SF Jazz is doing a Wayne Shorter tribute in its Fridays at 5 series. Yeah, I think they've done a number of them. They're raising money because Wayne has medical expenses. And so they're raising money to help Wayne Shorter right now. Yeah, it's hard to imagine that someone like Wayne Shorter with the career he's had needs help with his medical expenses, but that's the society we live in. It's really, really terrible. Okay, so check this out. Let's see if I can get this to work. If I go like this, does that work? Yeah, it works. Okay, so let's put it up there. This is a tree fractal, and I'm just going to show you a little bit more about it, first of all. Here, check this out. I'm going to open it up. There we go. So it's this incredible mathematical shape. Here, I'm going to do just the tree fractal. There we go. I'm going to open it up. There it is, all the way open. And that's this thing called a tree fractal. I find it so beautiful because it really looks like what you see in nature. And I can change the different angles between the branches. So you can get all these different shapes that are kind of like, they just remind you of different things. Like maybe this one here is more like a fern or something. And then maybe this one here starts to feel like something more mineral, like a pattern of rivers maybe and their tributaries. Yeah, that to me looks like a different type of plant, like actually like the tip of a fern. And then we can get these different patterns that are so different. And the crazy thing is, they're just based on this incredibly simple idea, which is you take a Y, so in other words, the letter Y at the base there, and then you repeat that letter Y at different different scales. So it's this idea of self-similarity in fractals. And you get this incredible diversity of shapes. Andres French says broccoli, totally. Broccoli and even more Romanesco are super fractal vegetables. And there's a lot of them. So how do I turn this into music, you know? This is actually something I started working on years ago. And what I thought was, if you look at this shape, can you see that? There are, can I point at this? Oh boy, I've never done this before. There are nodes on it, right? Like that's a node there. That's a place where a branch separates into two other branches. That's another node there. And these are like first level nodes. So to me, that's one instrument. That's one instrument, that's one instrument. I mean, in other words, those are both the same instrument because they're the first layer. This is another branch here, and that's the second layer. Second layer, second layer. And so the idea is that every time these branches divide, that's a different layer. That's a different instrument. Of course, on the piano, I only have one instrument, but I can still be thinking of them as different layers. So like, for example, Here, I'm going to play just the first layer for you. Okay? Sometimes the note repetitions don't work perfectly on the piano, but now we're listening to the first layer. And now we're listening to the second layer. I'm not sure that blue is coming through great right now, but you'll be able to see it here. That's the second layer in blue. And there are 4 of them. There's 2 of the first layer, but 4 of the second layer. And here's the third layer. There are 8 of them. And the fourth layer, there's 16 of them. And the fifth layer, the 32. And this is all happening on my piano, of course. Oh, except you can't see it. Here you go. Now you can see it. So then I can kind of turn different layers on and off. There's the first one coming back in. Then dim the fifth one. And then I'll move the tree a little bit. Now, I made it so I can change the mode too. So right now, we're in the Dorian mode. Okay, so it's like if I'm gonna sing with this, yeah, maybe I'll sing with it a little bit. So we can really hear this mode. Do, la, 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 do, de, la, do, de. Da di di la la do di da da di mo di da di da di da di la di. And now let's try harmonic minor. La da di la di la di la di la la di da di da di la do la la do. major. Harmonic major is a magical mode. And now what happens if instead of playing the nodes of the tree in the order in which they're created, in other words, instead of following the natural hierarchy of the tree, what happens if we look at the nodes in a different order, if we sort them visually, for example, from bottom to top? You'll see it's very different. Check this out. Baba da biada, baba da biada, baba da biada, day a day. Do la ya di la di da, ho di ya di da di. Do yo da di da, ho ya
di da di da ya do de do de.
Isn't that fun? I just find that really inspiring because you're getting all that music just from two variables. Just from the overall angle of the branches and the difference between the angle of the two branches. Or you could also think of it as just the angle of each branch. Anyway, it's just two variables and all that music comes out. And what I like about it is that you can kind of tell, and this was my goal when I set out to turn that fractal to music, you can feel the structure of the fractal in the music. You can feel that the music is structured. And that's really what I'm going for. Anytime I turn one medium into another medium, it has to be done faithfully so that the structure that you find in one medium is palpable in the other medium as well. That's super important to me. Bob Toaby says, tell us a little bit about your piano, please. By the way, I just wanted to mention, if you're watching on YouTube right now, I can't read your comments. Sorry about that. But the comments I'm reading are on the Facebook stream. Yeah, Bob Toby says, tell us a little bit about your piano. Thank you for asking. This is a Yamaha Disclavier. It's actually on loan to me from Yamaha, which I super duper appreciate. It's been amazing having this instrument at home. And it's called a Yamaha Disclavier, which means it's a modern day player piano. It's a fully acoustic, beautiful acoustic instrument that also is able to play all by itself, like the old school player pianos from the early 20th century, except that of course you can send the commands to it via your computer. And that's what I'm doing right now, sending commands with my computer. Charmaine Matthews says, do these ideas just come to you? What is your thought process? I'm glad you asked. I'm a big believer in creative procrastination. So actually, the way that I got into making music with the computer at all was because I had this big commission to write a nonet piece for Lee Konitz. And that was, I want to say, I don't know, 2009 or something like that. I don't remember the exact year. But I was procrastinating on writing this piece like crazy. I'm not quite sure why. It actually turned out pretty well in the end, but it was a mad dash at the end. But what I was doing, this is kind of my pattern, is that when I'm procrastinating from doing something, I don't usually do dumb things. I usually do other really interesting things that I've been putting off for a long time. So in other words, I use this project that I have to do as an excuse to do the projects that I've been meaning to do. That seems to be what happens to me every time. So yeah, while I was procrastinating from writing this nonet piece, I downloaded this program called Processing, which is this coding environment that's designed for artists, and I just started playing with it. And one of the examples that comes with it is that fractal tree. Obviously, it doesn't make music or anything like that. And the fractal tree is an old idea. It wasn't invented by processing or by the person who wrote the program. But there was an example where they had a very simple iteration of that tree. And I said to myself, wow, it's just so stunning that you can get such elegance and beauty from such a simple idea, just that Y replicating itself. And I said to myself, I wonder if I can turn that into music. And that's how it happened. So creative procrastination. Yeah, Matt Merowitz asks, can you explain what that tree was and what it represented? I missed the first part intro. See, Matt, that's the beauty of the live stream. You got to be there, or you can go back to the replay and watch it. But the tree doesn't represent anything. The tree is a pure piece of mathematical logic that when you look at it for a second, you realize that it represents how pretty much all of nature works. I'm actually working on a 3D version of that tree. So instead of 2 branches like this, it has 3 branches. So you can imagine the Y splitting into 3 branches like this. And that'll be really cool because the music that you just heard has this duple feeling, right? It's like, it's like 1 and 2 and 1. But with 3 branches, it'll have a triple feeling. It'll be like, okay? So yeah, I'll try to have that happening for you guys for next week. Okay, it's 3. I can't believe how time flies with you. I also have such a good time playing for you. Maybe I'll play a couple more for you. Oh, I have something very important to say. There's another ticketed live stream, okay? I've been enjoying doing the ticketed live stream so much. It's just like this incredible thing to be able to do legitimate live concerts with other musicians for you, and that you actually buy a $5 ticket and watch as if it were a live concert, and we can actually interact with you and take requests and all that. So I've been enjoying it so much, and I have another one, and it's with someone very special. He's a dear friend of mine. We've been friends for a long time. Actually lives right around the corner from me, and he's also one of the greatest jazz pianists in the world, for sure. And his name is Aaron Deal. And here's a poster. So it'll be July 15th at 3 p.m. That's a Wednesday, July 15th at 3 p.m. New York time, which is 9 a.m. in Hawaii and 12 p.m. in San Francisco and 8 p.m. in London and 9 p.m. in Paris, which should cover, a fair amount of my audience. I'm sorry if you live in Australia, but if you live in Australia or Japan, what you can do is still buy a ticket and then watch it later, because once you buy the ticket, you get a link and you can watch it at any time. You don't have to watch it live. You could even watch it live and then watch it again afterwards if you'd like to. American Pianists Association commented, 2 American Pianist Awards winner for the price of 1. That's right. So I won the American Pianist Award in 2007, and Aaron was the guy after me. He won it in, I think, 2010 or 11. I think it was 2011 that Aaron won. But yeah, Aaron is totally awesome. He's like me, he's somebody who really grew up in jazz, but who has taken a lot of inspiration from classical music. Aaron does, he plays concertos with orchestras, and he is actually doing a Bach project right now. So yeah, we're great friends, and I'm just really excited to do this, especially because it's going to be the first time I do 2 pianos with Jack Trip. So he's going to be in his apartment, and I'm going to be in my apartment, and we're going to be playing together in real time using the software Jack Trip that allows super low latency playing together remotely. And it'll be 2 pianos. So this is going to be pretty cool. And I should mention, we have a piano tuner coming the same day to both our places to make sure our pianos are going to be exactly in tune with each other. So it's going to be cool. Yeah, Matt Marowitz says, and he flies planes. Yeah, Aaron is a bit of a modern day James Bond. He actually is a pilot and flies planes. He's been known, if a situation arises where the band with like Cecile McLaurin-Salvant, he's been in her band for a long time, where, for whatever reason their plane is canceled, he's actually been known to just go to the local airport and rent a plane and just fly it over there. It's pretty cool. Yeah, Aaron Deal flies planes, Mike cites. Julie Archibald says, then tickets should be at least $10. Yeah, I mean, you get 2 pianos, so, if one piano is $5, you got to have $10 for the 2 pianos. Well, I have good news for you. You can buy a $5 ticket, and you can make a donation if you want. You can make a donation of any amount. People in the past live streams have been incredibly generous, actually, with donations. I really like this model where it's like, $5 should be accessible to pretty much everyone. And if you do have some extra money and you want to support live music in these strange times, you can give a bigger donation. Yeah, and I also have a Patreon. Thanks for reminding me, Matt. Patreon is patreon.com/Dan Tepfer. Patreon.com/Dan Tepfer. Yeah, and I'm just going to put the link here again to the place where you can buy tickets for the stream with Aaron. That's dantepfer.com/tix, Tix. Okay, I want to play a little more for you guys. Do you have any requests? Do you feel like I should play something specific? I've already played some Morricone. I've already played some Wayne Shorter. What else would you like to hear? I'm gonna wait a little bit. All I heard was nothing. That gets requested so much time. So I mean, so often. There's a presenter in Russia who always requests All I Heard Was Nothing. Joyce Glasgow says, see my request. Well, what is your request? Peel Repeal. Wow. Oh, wow. Boy, so many good requests. I'm getting overwhelmed. I feel like somebody earlier requested I'm Old Fashioned, which is something I don't think I've ever played on this show. I think I'm going to play I'm Old Fashioned, and then I'll play a tune of mine. Yeah, I'll play 2, because there's a lot of requests for compositions of mine. So I'm going to play I'm Old Fashioned, and ooh, the song is you. Ooh, so many good requests. No, I'm playing I'm Old Fashioned. That's it. Here we go. Wow, that was fun. I haven't played that in a really long time, and it was really fun. I don't know, there's just a really special alchemy about sitting here and playing for you. It's really amazing that we can do this virtually, that I actually get the feeling of excitement and danger and communication that comes from live performance in this virtual medium. It's really amazing, and I know that you feel it too. Cameron Krug says, love that lovely Lydian ending. Yeah, man, you got a good ear for modes. That was Lydian. Okay, I want to play one last one for you guys today. I'm just going to plug this one more time in case some of you are just tuning in. July, I never know what way to go. July 15th, I'm doing a ticketed live duo concert with the great Aaron Deal. And you can buy tickets at dantepfer.com/tix. They're $5, and you can make a donation if you feel like it. Okay, what am I going to play? There were a lot of requests earlier for tunes of mine. I'm gonna scroll up and let's see. Okay, Peel Repeal. Wow, that's an old tune of mine. It's actually one of my more favorite compositions. But to be perfectly honest with you, I haven't played that in a really long time, and it's really hard. It's pretty complicated. I don't think I could do it justice right now. It starts like this. It goes. Starts like that, and then it has a lot of pretty complicated chords. So I'm gonna have to look at that again, but I'll try to play that for you next time. Thanks for the request, Jonathan Glass. Jonathan Glass is an incredible artist. When gigs were live, he would show up at live gigs and draw the musicians as they were playing. So his drawing was just as much an improvisation as what the people were doing on stage. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that initial request from Matt Marowis, which was All I Heard Was Nothing, one of my old compositions, and it's always fun to play. So here we go. All I Heard Was Nothing. Guys, this has been really, really fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Mike Schiffer says, Mike Schiffer is a wonderful presenter. He says, I was 12 when I saw Astaire and Rita Hayworth in You Were Never Lovelier, and I thought she was singing I'm Old Fashioned. Later learned it was dubbed by Nan Wynn. Wow, I gotta see that. I've never seen that musical, You Were Never Lovelier. Thanks for the recommendation, Mike. I didn't even know that was the musical that I'm Old Fashioned came from. That's one of the things I really love about doing this show for you. It goes both ways. I learn a lot from you. Learn how to properly pronounce Goodall today. It's Goodall, as in the logician, Goodall. So yeah, thanks again. Please consider buying some tickets for this show on July 15th with Aaron Deal. I'm super excited about it. I think it's going to be great. We're definitely going to play some Bach. Definitely going to play some Ligeti. We're definitely going to play some Philip Glass because he has actually performed Philip Glass etudes for Philip Glass himself. And we're going to do a lot of jazz. Probably take a lot of requests because I have a lot of fun just playing two piano tunes with Aaron. So yeah, the compositions of his and mine as well. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good hang. So yeah, one last time, head over to dantepfer.com/tickets if you'd like to get a ticket for July 15th. Thank you again so much, and I'll be back next Monday at 2 p.m. New York time, and I really look forward to seeing you again then. Okay. Bye-bye.